Broadcasting live from the Razor Fields on the plain of Mirrodin, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to Tap Tap Concede on our brand new podcasting set. Woo! Which actually, I realize we fully explained in the latest Lurcast, but this will go up before then, won't it?
Theoretically, yes.
So
the audiences aren't 100% crossover.
Exactly. Also that. So if you're listening,
it should sound exactly the same.
It should sound the same. If you're
Ignore
listening to
this.
the audio version on iTunes or on the RSS feeds or however you choose to
skip forward about 2 minutes in your podcasting app.
Ingest our podcast. This will sound the same. But you watching on YouTube, you will see that there's a new podcasting set. One of the things we were able to pull out of the mystery box thanks to your Patreon funding.
We got some cool stuff, and now we're not all sort of crammed behind a desk, with pop screens in front of our faces.
I should mention, though, that you'll see that we're all holding these microphones, and I have this one on a stand and everything. This is not the final plan. Very soon we're going to get headset mics so that it will have the same sort of audio quality, but we'll have our hands free and be able to look back and forth and not be holding stuff the whole time.
We'll be able to have full-on mud wrestling fights if we need to.
But we haven't acquired those.
Without losing any of that precious audio fidelity.
We haven't got those yet. So
they're coming.
We're going to be using this for this week. So hopefully we'll have them for next week, but who knows?
But also look how nice this is.
Yeah. Speaking of this week, what we're going to do for this week, because there's no new spoilers, there's not a lot of news going on right now.
Kind of in the Magic release dead zone, right? Like Modern Masters 2 spoiler season hasn't started yet, and Dragons of Tarkir just came out. So we've sort of done our initial reads on the format, but there's no new exciting things to talk about.
So before we get to the Dragons of Tarkir nickname podcast, which will be happening sometime soon, we're going to open several packs. It's going to be a crack-a-pack extravaganza. And specifically, we're going to do some packs that will be appearing in Modern Masters 2.
Yeah, so you can get a little bit of a preview. Keep your eye out for maybe some of these cards. So, James, what is Modern Masters 2 going to accompany?
Well, first off, it's called Modern Masters 2015. We should get that right.
That's true.
That is the correct name for it. They don't want us to call it Modern Masters 2. It's covering... Actually, I don't know where it starts, but it ends at Scars.
I think it starts in the same place.
I believe it's the same place
edition, right?
up until the Scars of Mirrodin block, which will be opening soon. But first, we must open into this pack of Shards of Alara.
Yes, because the Modern Masters,
the format
there, used to go from 8th edition Mirrodin up to Shards of Alara block, which is what this is. And the new one, Modern Masters 2015, then includes Zendikar block and Scars of Mirrodin block. So, But let's start with, yes, as you say, Shards of Alara. This one has no name on it.
But thank you so much to whoever gave us this pack.
All right, I'm going to take this off here now. All right. Resounding Roar. It's 1 and a green instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
Okay, I mean, that's giant growth.
Yeah, that's...
But more expensive.
Is there more text?
There is.
Oh.
Cycling. You can cycle this card for 5 red, green, white.
What?
Holy crap.
I mean...
Okay.
Sure. Which is Naya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
insane.
Cycle it for 8 mana, 5 and the full Naya, and when you cycle a card, you discard it and draw a card. When you cycle it...
Okay, keeps going.
Target creature gets +6/+6 until end of turn.
Oh.
That's weird.
It's versatile, at least.
Yeah.
Ignore everything. Ignore the last two things.
It's still a fine combat trick.
1 and a green for +3/+3 instant speed.
It's fine.
Giant growth, but one more.
It's fine.
But that's fine, because,
And then, when you cycle it, it can't be countered?
Exactly. That's a really important thing to remember.
Good point.
Also, then you get to draw a card off it. I mean, it's incredibly expensive, but...
All right, next up.
Viashino Skeleton.
Just as a side note, that's part of the card that does something and then cycles for 8 to do something bigger and draw a card.
Is a cycle?
There's a resounding cycle in that.
Neat. Interesting. All right. I guess we didn't say who was here this week. It's Graham and
Kathleen.
And Cameron.
And James.
And Paul on production. Forgot to introduce ourselves.
If you're watching
Hello.
the video version of this podcast, you probably figured that out already.
Probably. Fiashino Skeleton is a 2/1 for 3 and a red.
Nope.
That's not great. But for 1 and a black and discard a card, you can regenerate it.
No.
Still bad.
Nope.
That's just a bad card.
No, that's awful.
Now, it's in Grixis, and Grixis had graveyard stuff,
Sure.
so maybe you want to be able to pitch the thing.
I
mean,
really
it's a-
feel like there's better things I can do for 4 mana than get a piker.
I think you're probably right. Next up is Ethereum Sculptor.
Go on.
We talked about this when we were talking about Modern Masters, about the artifact. This was a couple taps ago. We were talking about the artifact, the blue-white artifact deck in Modern Masters Draft, and Ethereum Sculptor was one of them. It's 1 and a blue for a 1/2 Vidalcan Artificer, and it just has this static ability that says artifact spells you play cost 1 colorless less.
That is just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all aboard this train.
That's okay. A 1/2 is not a great body, but you know what? It still attacks and blocks. I mean, not great, but whatever. And artifacts, and like in the artifact deck, that is so good. So yeah, that's like, I don't know if it's like a super high pick unless you're already in the artifact deck.
Yeah, we don't know what. I mean, you're talking about within Shards block.
Yeah.
Obviously, for Modern Masters 2015, we don't know what their archetypes are going to be. You were saying that Modern Masters was only sort of balanced for draft, but that Modern Masters 2015 is balanced for draft and sealed.
I feel like that's what I remember reading. Yeah.
Okay.
So that could be really exciting.
maybe the artifact deck will return in a different form. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Who knows?
But I mean, realistically,
If you're including Scars of Mirrodin block, there's certainly a lot of artifacts around.
that's true
story.
actually. And
All
the
right.
nice thing about this guy, it's common, probably not a super high pick. Those discount stack. So you could really go off.
A Krasen Squire, or a Krasen Squire, is the absolute low end of the Exalted curve. It is a 1/1 for a single white with Exalted.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Well, if you get a 2-drop with Exalted, this is attacking as
Yeah.
a 3/3
yeah, exactly.
on turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, never underestimate like the pseudo haste effects.
Yep.
Yeah, here's the thing. 1/1s are normally terrible and you don't want to play them. I feel like Limited Resources has covered that ground extensively. But the thing with Exalted is was it in M13 that they had Exalted
Yeah.
come back? And there was the Exalted enchantment. That was still good because it still gave Exalted, right?
Yeah.
So think of it this way, as a 1-drop enchantment, right?
Sure.
that,
All right.
that gives
They
your
can attack
creatures
on turn 2.
Exalted.
Soul's Grace is 1 and a white for an instant. You gain life equal to target creature's power.
Is there anything
awful.
else on that card?
So there's some flavor text.
Then no.
Yeah.
Not even that
card
good
is-
flavor text.
That card's pretty bad.
Yeah. It's
Put it
not
in the
fantastic.
Put it in a bin. Although there is a Johnny on this card, so it does make it slightly better.
Can we talk about this for a moment? How this next card is a plant elephant.
Nice.
Sorry, what?
Go
I didn't even
on.
know there was such a thing.
It's a Mastodon.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Why?
Is it
Tally would love this
Is this just an
card.
elephant that is very old and has a lot of moss on it?
No, it's whether gargantuans or the manifested will of progenitus or simply the result of overabundant resources is moot when a herd of them is thundering at you. Gargantuans, apparently, they're like plant animals that progenitus creates, I guess.
Planimals.
Anyway, it's a 5/3 for 4 and a green,
That seems fine.
and for a single. So there was the Naya mechanic was controlling a creature with power 5 or greater. We talked about this
Oh,
before.
right. Yeah.
Ferocious is the is from Khans, was controlling a creature with power 4 or greater, which is, I think, a lot easier.
Yeah, although the creatures were huge in Alara block.
They were. Well, yeah, about half of them were. The Naya creatures sure were. So this guy has, for 1 colorless, target creature with power 5 or greater gains trample until end of turn.
Oh, that's also really good.
So it's a 5/3. You can pay 1 to give it trample, but you can also pay to give other things trample.
I feel like this is good, and I like it because it's really easy to cast. It's only 1 green and 4, and you can activate that ability for colorless. And you have to remember, this was a crazy
Multicolor
block. Like, I didn't play this block, but you were you're always 3 colors, maybe sometimes 4.
I'm not certain, but the fixing was like those miserable panoramas.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the border posts.
All right,
Right.
next up.
Next up is Wave Skimmer Aven, which is
I like the Aven keyword
2
or name.
green, white, blue.
Okay.
So 2 and
Bant.
a Bant. For a 2/4 flyer with Exalted.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, it's hard to cast,
Yep.
but like you're certainly not going to cast this on turn 5 unless you have some sort of lucky god curve. But
Well, I mean, you take the fixing pretty highly in this format.
Yeah.
that's true. Actually, I think this card seems really good to me.
I think so. Here's one of the miserable panoramas we were talking about. Jund Panorama. It's a land. You can tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool, and then for a single colorless and tap and sacrifice it, you search your library for a basic swamp, mountain, or forest, the 3 colors of Jund, and put it into play tapped, then shuffle your library. So this is what we're talking about with them being miserable. At least they tap for colorless, but
Yeah, but
you
you don't
have to
want
pay
colorless.
1 and tap it, so you can't use itself. You have to pay 1 and tap it and sack it and go searching for the basic, and the basic enters tapped.
It was so slow.
That's rough. But they were still picked fairly highly. Not
Well,
as
you got to do what you got to do.
not as highly as the tri-land cycle stuff like
the
Savage Lands,
Crumbling
and-
Necropolis.
Yeah. There was a cycle of 5 of them. I don't know, because I never actually drafted this format. This is all things I've been told. I don't know how well the obelisks were picked. Probably pretty well. Obelisk of Bant is the next card. It's a 3-mana artifact, and you tap it to add green, white, or blue to your mana pool.
I mean, that seems honestly better than a panorama
I think I'd rather it.
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like, you can use it immediately. You don't have to like.
But it
there's-
costs you 3.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if we didn't have the gain lands in Khan's block, would you have played the banners?
You kind of would have had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I feel like these probably got played pretty highly.
Here's a cool card. At least a cool looking. Hindering Light is white and a blue for an instant. Counter target spell that targets you or a permanent you control, and you draw a card.
That seems fine.
That seems good.
Like
I mean,
the-
like,
Yeah.
The spells, especially in draft, are typically going to be the spells you care about countering are typically going to be targeting you or a permanent you control.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that pretty much like,
So this doesn't work against a combat trick on one of their creatures.
yeah.
Or like a wrath effect.
Or a wrath that doesn't target.
Or an edict effect.
Yeah.
Well,
but it
or
works against
no,
all.
target you.
Target
Oh,
target
yeah,
you.
the,
Yep.
yeah, it's true. So there's
but like if they try to remove a creature or bounce a creature or something,
burn you out
Yeah,
or who
fire
knows.
you.
But yeah, that definitely seems good.
I mean, and it's like
And it replaces itself.
It's a
It
hard
does-
cancel too. Like it's just like nope.
it is hard to cast though, but it's only 2.
Is it?
It's well,
but,
it's
but is it hard to cast?
well, it's a
in-
blue and a white.
Yeah, harder, but it's
Well-
still only 2 mana. And again, we're assuming in this format that you've got the mana to.
Well, I'm
splash.
just saying that, like, realistic. Well, I mean, when it's the counter target spell that counters you or a creature you control is actually the kind of counter spell you want to cast later in the game when they're trying to remove a creature you care about, right?
Yeah, which
not necessarily
makes it fine. Also, remember
Like
this
a negate or
this was a
something.
3-color format, so a 2-color spell is actually fine. Like this gets into doesn't this get into 2 of the?
Well, it gets into Esper and Bant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that seems totally fine.
It's just harder to cast a white and blue spell than just a
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
white or
But in
one
this
blue.
format, that's fine.
All right, next up.
So you've seen again. Speaking of Khan's block and comparisons between the Shards of Alara and the Wedges of Khans, you saw all the charms, the different clan charms. This is one for this. This is Naya charm. So it casts for the full Naya, red, green, and white instant, and you choose one. Either Naya charm deals 3 damage to target creature, or return target card in a graveyard to its owner's hand, or tap all creatures that target player controls.
Yeah.
I feel that last one is really the one you want to.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
they're all
I would
pretty
play
good.
any of those effects.
3 damage is pretty sweet.
3 damage is sweet as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, charms are great. Like any
Yeah.
card that gives you that kind of versatility and that is just straight up playable. So
So this is a very interesting card. This is one of those cards that like specifically calls out other cards. It's a 1/1 for a single green elf shaman. It's called Behemoth's Herald.
Oh.
It has this activated ability. 2 and a green, and tap it. Sacrifice a red creature, a green creature, and a white creature. The green creature could be itself.
Yes.
Search your library for a card named Godsire and put it into play. Then shuffle your library. Can you tell me what Godsire does?
yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Godsire is a 8/8 for a red, 2 green, a white, and 4 colorless. So
Okay.
it's an 8 drop.
Okay.
For 8/8 drop vigilance.
Okay.
Tap, put an 8/8 beast creature token into play.
Seems
that's
good.
red. That's red, green, and white.
That seems very good.
So
I
that's
love-
aspects the two. It's got the god part and the sire part
Yeah.
All right.
covered. So you sacrifice the little elf dude,
3 creatures.
and you get him, and then you just keep tapping him and get more 8/8 beasts.
Well,
I love vigilant creatures with tap abilities.
Yep.
well, because ideally you could swing in and then tap it at the end of your opponent's turn, so it untaps
Yeah.
for your upkeep.
Well, you could do this end of turn, too. So you
Yeah.
can do this end of turn, bring in the Godsire, untap, slam for 8 with Vigilance, and then wait until the end of their next turn to tap and add an 8/8, and then you got 2 of them, and ugh.
So
Still,
what
though, what
is-
a pain in the ass.
Is it a brown trousers moment when your opponent plays this against you?
No, because
And
they
do you-
probably don't have the Godsire.
Well, no, I mean, like, you wouldn't put this in your deck unless...
I think so, yeah. Like,
well, wait,
Godsire is
was,
rare, right?
was there any elf synergy though?
I would assume so.
Because this guy's I guess this guy's uncommon.
I don't think tribal was a thing in Shards block.
yeah, Godsire was a mythic.
Mythic, yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like you
So I'm-
open Godsire and you pick up 2 of these guys.
And this guy's
'cause
an-
they're just going around.
And that
Yeah,
guy's
they're
like-
circling
that
this
guy's
guy's uncommon,
yeah.
too.
Seems kind of hard to put together and limited.
Yeah.
Also, as a note, you need to sacrifice 3 creatures. You can't sacrifice a 1 red, green, white creature.
Yeah.
And if you sacrifice a multicolored creature, you have to specify
Which color it is?
which of the things it's fulfilling.
All right.
I mean, it seems like a lot of work, but I mean, it's probably. I mean, that's the kind of draft deck that LSV builds, and has a good time playing it.
obviously, if you open Godsire, you're going for it.
Yeah, you're going to try to find a Behemoth
All right.
Herald.
All right, Rockcaster Platoon is next. It's a 5/7 Rhino Soldier for 5 white.
Okay.
That's not cheap.
I mean,
But you get a 5/7. That blocks a lot. That blocks all the 5-power Naya creatures.
yeah.
Well, and it also brings Naya.
It also
It's
is
online.
a 5-power
Yeah.
Naya
Yeah.
creature, yeah. And it has an activated ability for 4 and a green. Rockcaster Platoon deals 2 damage to each creature with flying and each player.
That seems pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
how big were the Esper flyers in this?
You can if you have 10 mana, you can activate that ability more than once.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we've opened one of the bat flyers who had 4 toughness.
Yep.
Right.
yeah, that's true. Actually, it was the where is it? It was
Wasn't that a
gold card.
2/4 though?
It was
Yeah,
a
it was a
wave
2/4.
skimmer Aven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think the Exalted Avon Squire, the 2/1 flyer, with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exalted, that was a reprint from this set. So how bad does it feel to like,
It's a 1/1, wasn't it?
or a 1/1?
Yes.
think?
It was
Okay,
1/1.
Yeah,
One-
Yeah,
one
yeah,
flying
yeah.
Exalted?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a Suntail Hawk with
Yeah,
Exalted.
with Exalted, yeah.
Yeah, because you could respond to the Exalted trigger, right? Swinging with that guy, Rockcaster.
All right.
Got a real cool looking forest, and our rare is in fact a mythic. It is not Godsire, though.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is the Imperial Archangel. 4
Oh, yeah.
green, white, blue. So it's in the sort of the same casting cost realm as Godsire. Once again, 4 green, white, blue.
So it's an 8-drop.
Yeah, it's an 8-drop angel. It is a 5/8
Okay.
with flying and shroud.
Okay.
Which again, shroud is like hexproof, but it means no one can do anything
Yeah,
to it.
you can't
Yeah.
buff your own creature
Yeah.
or anything like that.
All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to Imperial Archangel instead.
Interesting.
So as long as you can just choose not to block things, and if you take 7 damage off of a bunch of attacks, Imperial Archangel takes 7 and doesn't die.
Yeah, and they can't finish it off with like a little burn spell or anything like that.
Yeah.
I guess they could try to ping you or
They
something.
could hit their own guy. They could buff their own dudes, but that is super interesting.
Is there a herald that hunts for this guy, considering that her casting cost seems to mirror the Naya casting cost?
I don't know.
The Godsire
I don't
casting
know. Was that Herald a cycle? Is there a
Yeah,
cycle
there were
of
definitely
heralds?
a cycle. There was, I know there was a Jund one that hunted for.
Oh, for the Broodmother.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah,
you are correct. There's another one called there's the Demon's Herald, which is the black one that goes and looks for a dude called the Prince of Thralls,
okay.
Nice.
who's presumably. Let's see what the Prince of Thralls is.
I'm guessing he's mean and black.
Probably 8
He's
power.
Kills a lot of things.
8 mana, black, blue, red,
Grixis.
Ooh. Okay.
7/7 demon. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put in the graveyard, put that card into play under your control unless that opponent pays 3 life.
Wow.
Crazy.
I like it.
That seems good.
And then what goes looking for the Imperial Angel?
Archangel? That would be the
Archangel.
That'd be the white one.
Yes, the white one.
So let me just.
I assume Archangel's Herald
We'll have to see.
or Angel's Herald. It could be, but it's probably Archangel's Herald.
So, I've passed the pack to Cam, and I have my pick is to see if. Obviously, we don't know what's going to be in Modern Masters 2015 yet, but
Your pick for Shards of Alara, at least out of this pack.
well, not what I would pick if I was drafting, but what I think might be in Modern Masters 2015.
Oh,
And I think this is actually a good pick because it's not crazy, but it is useful and can go into a lot of things and can go into a lot of archetypes. And then I have no insider information, so if I'm right, I'm just going to go buy a lottery ticket. But Paul, do you have the Herald?
Yeah, so it's the Angel's Herald,
Makes sense.
which is just a 1/1 for 1, 2 colorless and 1 white. Tap, sack a green, a white and a blue creature.
okay. So they're all the
And
same.
They're all the same. Yeah.
And then there's also the Dragon's Herald.
Right. Which goes looking for the Broodmother.
No, Hellkite Overlord.
Hellkite Overlord, that's what I
Oh,
meant.
right.
Right.
I know that card.
The Mythic, yeah.
And then
Another one.
yeah,
Sure. Yeah, okay. Okay, so what do you think out of this pack is going to be in Modern Masters?
I mean,
Kathleen?
if I had to, if I was in Wizards development, I would actually put the Mastodon in.
Really?
Yeah.
You think there's going to be a lot of creatures in Modern Masters 2015 with 5 power?
I mean, there could be.
There could be.
I mean, that's a kind of a neat green. Like, green before was Saprolings, right? Was the sort of Modern
Yep.
Masters mechanic. So,
The Thallid Bowl.
the Thallid Bowl. This plays well with Thallid Bowl, doesn't it, right?
Does it?
I mean, I think so.
well, there's
The Thallid's got real big.
no, they're
No,
no.
they
Oh, no, they were real little.
The
Yeah.
Thallids are 1/1s. The
Yeah.
Thallids are
But,
tiny.
but the thing, it doesn't. Wait, what am I saying? It doesn't need to play well with Thallid Bowl because Thallids aren't going to be one of the things you
Right,
do in Modern
exactly.
Masters 2015.
Exactly.
So it'd be cool to have like big green Stompy, right? As like sort of a green centered mechanic. Also, it goes really really well with Infect,
And we do think that Infect could be.
one of the mechanics. Because think about this. You know, you can. How great is it to have like I can just give my Infect creature trample,
Very good.
right? That's super good. So that's my pick for something that could conceivably be in Modern Masters from this pack.
All right.
Cam, did you have any picks?
I don't know really. I'd like to see Exalted come back in a limited format.
That could be
again.
super interesting.
Oh, I think that could be a really good mechanic for
yeah,
white.
Magic 2013 was a really fun set. So I don't know. Exalted could be fun to come back.
just a quick note. The last of the guys to go to look for the Sphinx Sovereign. He's blue, white, black, and he's an artifact creature, which is kind of interesting. He's a Sphinx, 6/6, flying. At the end of your turn, you gain 3 life if he is untapped. Otherwise, each opponent loses 3 life.
Cool.
So, yay for multiplayer.
There's no downside there. Yeah, wow. All right, so that was the Shards of Alara pack. Now we're going to do a Scars of Mirrodin pack because it's up to Mirrodin block in the new Modern Masters.
One last thing.
Oh, yeah.
If Exalted comes back, then we could see what's her name come back, the Mana Dork with Exalted.
Oh, Noble Hierarch.
Noble Hierarch.
And a lot of people are thinking that they might reprint her in Modern Masters 2015, so maybe Exalted becomes a thing. That could be super cool.
And Exalted also plays well with Infect.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
God.
Exalted plays well with everything.
Oh, man, drafting a format with Exalted and Infect in it, that could be crazy. Again, we have no idea, but we are making suppositions.
This is the speculation show.
So yeah, this is a pack of Scars of Mirrodin that was given to us by John at GP Vancouver.
Hooray, John.
Thank you, John.
Speaking of Infect, Cyst Bearer. Blah.
Oh yeah, all the creatures in this block are gross.
It's a 2/3 for 2 and a green with Infect. Which,
Great.
again, a reminder for Infect, this creature deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters, and to players in the form of poison counters. And it only takes 10 poison to kill a man.
Oh yeah, I remember when Zendikar was still in and Scars of Mirrodin just came out. The fast green Infect decks at Standard, like you could win on turn 3 if you had a good hand, right?
That was fun.
Yeah, well, like there was the at the end of the block, there was the Glistener Elf deck.
Oh yeah.
But like I don't think Infect really found a home until that deck came out.
Well, there was a period of time because of because Zendikar block was still around. So you could do. I remember having you had the Glistener Elf deck with Vines of Vastwood,
and mutagenic
Giant-
growth.
and Groundswell,
Yeah.
and Mutagenic Growth, and it was just like
Wasn't Giant Growth also in that format?
no, but
No.
Mutagenic Growth was, which was the one you could pay life to cast.
Right. Because you don't
for
care about
Phyrexian
your
mana.
life total.
Yeah. And so you'd be in a situation where you're like, I attack you for 1 with this guy, and they're like, okay, I take 1 poison counter, and you're like, excuse me, before damage, take lethal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty gross.
Well, I definitely remember that when both blocks came out, there was Fast Green Infect, which was a scary deck.
This card I remember being super cool. You remember this one?
Yep.
Yeah. Glinthawk Idol. 2 colorless mana for an artifact. Whenever another, and that's it. It sits there, 2 colorless. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Glinthawk Idol become a 2/2 artifact creature with flying until end of turn. Or, for 1 white, Glinthawk Idol becomes a 2/2 artifact creature with flying until end of turn. So, 2 mana sits there. Some turns you just for free get to make it into a 2/2 flyer, which for 2 mana is good. Or other turns you can pay 1 and just be like, well, I'll just pay 1 and hit you.
Yeah.
Well, and also,
But you don't have to run this in a white deck. You just have to have artifacts.
yeah. Well, and Metalcraft was the thing, and that was if you controlled 3 or more artifacts, right? Mm-hmm. So
I
there's one
love
artifact.
creatures that live through wraths.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Couple of fun things with this guy. So for one thing, he's been errated so that it is a bird artifact creature.
Oh, of course it would be, wouldn't it?
Second thing is also using the new template. He becomes a artifact creature with base power and toughness 2/2,
Right, of course.
which is relevant because if you turn him into, create him into a thing, and then somebody does like turn to frog on him, and then you cast another artifact or pay 1 white, he turns back into a hawk. Like he gets his old power and toughness back, which is kind of cool.
Oh, because Turn to Frog makes him an 0/1, but then you pay 1 or cast an artifact, and he then turns into a 2/2.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
of course.
Interesting.
So if any of his 2 abilities resolve while it's a creature, that ability will override any effects that set his power and toughness to another number.
Of course. And you can put +1/+1 counters on him when he's a creature, and when he goes back to being an artifact, they'll stay there.
Yeah.
They just won't do anything.
They won't do anything. But then when he becomes a creature again,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing is because he only becomes a flyer until end of turn. You basically you can only use instant speed removal on this guy, right? I mean, I guess I could turn into an artifact on your turn to block or something like that if I was in a really bad situation. But it basically means that you can't just kill it unless it's actively attacking you.
Speaking of actively attacking you, Flameborn Hellion.
Yep.
Is a 5/4 for 5 and a red. It has haste, and it attacks each turn if able. Actively attacking you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a 5/4?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That card was good.
Yep. I recall it being like, you did again, like, sure, it's 6 mana, but especially in draft, when your opponent goes, it's a 5/4 and I hit you out of nowhere, you're like, oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, like
5/4 is hard to deal with.
Juggernauts are fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up is a Sylvok Lifestaff, which I recall being actually pretty okay. It's a single mana for an equipment, and it costs 1 colorless to equip. The equipped creature gets +1/+0. It's cheap, so it's not a big effect. And whenever equipped creature is put into a graveyard, you gain 3 life.
Yeah.
So you can move it to a creature that's just going to chump block.
Yeah, exactly. And something, maybe trades up a little bit, it dies, or it gets withered away or whatever, and then you just gain 3 life, put on something else.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fine. I mean, you can only equip it. You can't equip it instant speed, right?
No.
So that's something but you can. It also triggers Metalcraft.
The so-called Dinosaurs deck was kind of a thing, and this is one of them, the Alpha Tyrannax. It's a 6/5 beast for 4 green. That's it.
Yep.
Just a big old dude.
Green does that well.
Yep. Here's an angry little man. It's the Goblin Gavalier. It's
Oh, I remember this guy.
Yeah, 1 colorless. Sorry, why did I say that? 1/1 for 1 red. I don't know why I say colorless. It's a 1/1 for a single red mana, but he has trample.
Yay.
Why does a 1/1 have trample? Well, because he gets +2/+0 for each equipment you attach to it.
Oh,
So
some-
Sylvok Lifestaff, he becomes a 4/0.
A 4/1
4/1
with trample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he
you can
dies.
just roll them in there, and they're like, I trade and take 2 damage, and you gain 3 life, and everyone's fine with it because he only costs 1 mana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Snap Sail Glider is a 2/2 for 3, and that's it. Just a 2/2. But if you have Metalcraft, like Kathleen mentioned, it gets flying. So it's Metalcraft is it's a reminder keyword like formidable or ferocious or those things. Snap Sail Glider has flying as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, and of course this counts.
Yeah.
So again, put a Sylvok Lifestaff on it. It's a 3/2. Get 1 more artifact out of there, like a Glinthawk Idol. Actually, there's a good turn. Have a Glinthawk Idol in this guy. Play the Lifestaff, equip the Lifestaff. Then you're hitting in the air for 5.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fun.
feels good.
Yeah. Stoic Rebuttal. It's 1 blue for counter target spell. So it's a cancel.
Yep.
If you have Metalcraft, it costs 1 colorless less. So it
It's just
becomes
blue. Counterspell.
it becomes counterspell.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very functional.
In I believe famously in I want to say it was Portuguese, this card actually does nothing.
Right.
Really?
The printed text on this card in the Portuguese translation is Stoic Rebuttal, 1 blue, Metalcraft, Stoic Rebuttal costs 1 colorless less to cast if you control 3 or more artifacts.
And that's it.
That's
Right.
it. They forgot to put on
It just-
the second
The part
Yeah.
where you
paragraph.
counter a spell.
Counter spell
It's
is
just it does nothing. It's just cheaper to cast if you have Metalcraft.
Yeah.
Trigger Storm.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Except you can't cast it because it doesn't do anything.
No.
I know. All right. Relic Putrescence is like not that great, but it's okay, I guess. 2 and a black for an artifact enchantment. Whenever enchanted artifact becomes tapped, its controller gets a poison counter. It's not great.
No, that's not very good.
I remember that, and it was really slow and not good in the Infect decks.
Yeah. Spell bombs are good though.
Yes, they are.
How about this one? This is the Flight Spell Bomb. Single colorless mana for an artifact. It just sits there. Tap and sacrifice it. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. When it goes into the graveyard from the battlefield, you can pay blue, and if you do, draw a card.
Yep.
Really good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the spell bombs were pretty good.
Oh, this card.
Oh,
yeah, I remember this
trigger-
card.
Card I could never make work.
This card's really good. Infiltration Lens is an equipment for 1 colorless. Whenever equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards, and it equips for 1 colorless.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be so good, but then, I mean,
I guess my problem was I was trying to play in Constructed with it because I was just getting into Magic then.
Right.
And being
Right.
like, this card is sweet. And then I'd go up against Cobblade.
yeah,
Yeah,
Just being
standard. This is
hell.
when we started playing Magic, and standard was like
awful.
Do you have Jace?
You don't have Jace? You don't
have
win.
Jace, then you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that deck rotated into Legacy.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Blue-white control.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Paul?
And sometimes blue-black.
Fun interaction. You put a lure effect on this guy.
Yep.
It triggers for every creature that blocks him.
Nice.
So,
Draw 12, mill self out, feel
yeah.
good anyway.
Yeah.
That's so good. Love it.
Yeah. Oh god, I was just remembering standard and like trying to play what actually was a good vampires deck and just nope. Okay, well the game is over and I didn't get to cast a turn. I didn't get to cast a spell.
Yep.
So unfun.
How about this one? Slice in Twain.
I remember this card.
2 green. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Draw a card. So it's a naturalized that costs a green and a colorless more.
But you get a card
But
off
you get
of
to
it.
draw a card.
Yeah.
In green.
And I feel that in this format,
Main deckable.
yeah,
I
super
think
main
so.
deckable.
I didn't actually see people main decking it that often. But
I think if you go up against a scary enough artifact, you're
Oh, yeah.
obviously wanting to bring this in. But, like, wait, which one's this?
except this one you can't.
Oh, yeah. No,
This
you
guy's
can't.
great.
Yeah.
Dark Steel Sentinel. All right. Settle in for some rules text here. He's a 3/3 for 6 mana.
Oh my god,
It's
okay.
like that's a lot. He's got Flash,
Fails the vanilla
but he's
thing.
got Flash
Yep.
That's okay.
and Vigilance.
Yep.
It's better.
And
going.
because he's a Dark Steel Sentinel,
He's
he is
indestructible.
indestructible.
Yeah. He's very good.
Notably, still can get infected.
Yes.
Yes, correct. So don't forget, infect creatures deal damage to creatures as -1/-1 counters, like the Wither mechanic from Shadowmoor and Eventide. So if this guy gets 3 -1/-1 counters on him, he still dies, even though he's indestructible. But
Oh, wait. He does, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
reduce all damage to 0, right?
No.
Okay.
It's lethal damage, and effects that say destroy don't destroy it.
Yeah.
If its toughness is 0 or less, it's still put into its owner's graveyard.
Yes.
It
Okay.
says on the card.
Ah, right.
That's smart of them to have done that.
Yep.
So,
Especially in this block.
I recall this guy being pretty good and tough to handle. Whoa! Ding,
Ooh.
ding, ding!
Hey, neat.
Our land is a plains, and our rules tip is poison, and our rare is Venser the Sojourner.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yay.
I actually made a deck that could win occasionally based all around Venser.
So Venser's a planeswalker that casts for 3 white-blue, and he has 3 starting loyalty, which is not amazing, but he has a +2, so he goes as a 5/5. Here he's a 5 mana planeswalker that you can have with 5 loyalty after you cast him, and his +2 is exile target permanent you own, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So, like, the worst case scenario is you blink one of the lands you use to cast him, and you get it untapped on your
Or
opponent's turn.
Yep.
That's like the worst case scenario.
I feel, yeah.
You can give a creature vigilance. You can abuse ETB effects.
Oh, yeah.
Or in feel good mode, like you're abusing Sun Titan or Frost Titan.
yeah.
Or in, because mana was still pretty decent with this set out because you had
All of
the snap lands.
The fetch lands, yeah.
Yeah, you could play cards like Flesh Render.
Flesh render.
Or, no. What was, Skin Render.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are so many good things that you can do by blinking a permanent.
All right.
It's permanent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to just slam, -1 creatures are unblockable this turn.
Yeah. So that can be a
Or
pretty good,
creatures cannot be blocked this turn. I
can
assume
be a
is the new
pretty good finisher.
Oracle wording.
I mean,
on
and that's his -1.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then -8, the win the game one, is you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
All your stuff goes away.
Forever.
Yeah.
I picked that
Venser's
guy.
fantastic.
I love
I
Venser.
slammed that guy.
I was so sad when he died in the lore
Yeah.
because we'll never get another Venser.
Well, go back in time.
Yeah, I suppose so. we could save Venser. We could have another one. He's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay.
He's fine.
we didn't get any of the
He could
really
be
good
reprinted in
infect
Modern Masters
creatures.
2015.
He could. And I like how in New Phyrexia his abilities kind of turned up in Karn.
Yeah.
Because in the lore he was his
He didn't
Karn
give
got his
his-
spark.
he got I think Karn got his heart or something.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some manner in which Venser gave his life so that Karn could reanimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Karn can exile things.
Yeah.
So
I like
it has
that.
kind of the same,
Flavor.
but so flavorful. So
Just as a quick note, I saw this in the rulings description. The emblem, whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent, the source of that effect is the emblem itself, which is colorless, which means that you can exile things that have protection from white or blue, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
that's very
Of course.
good to know.
It's not Venser that's doing it. It's
Right.
the emblem that's doing it.
Yeah.
Because the emblem
For
sticks
legal
around even if you lose
reasons.
Venser. Yeah. Yep. For legal reasons, my client is not the one exiling permanents.
Interesting, right? Because you could, of course, okay, yeah, right. Because it can't be Venser that grants you that ability. Because you can, typically
he
you
could
alt a
go away.
planeswalker, and then the planeswalker goes away.
Yeah.
But you still get the emblem, which gives you the ability to do that.
You had something you wanted to point out?
Well, I was going to say, I don't think we got any of the really good infect creatures, which is
No.
what I think is going to be in Modern Masters.
We got Assist
2015.
Bearer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I guess infect wasn't the. I don't know what. I actually kind of just hope that they reprint Venser, but I don't know if they will.
I think they could. I could see that happening.
All right.
All right,
What's
our next pack.
is not.
There's not that many cards here, but I wanted to knock this one out. This is a card from that was given to us by Mark at PAX East. Thanks for that. It's a Weiss Schwarz booster pack from Hatsune Miku Project Diva F2nd, the English edition.
Oh, the English edition.
I don't know why we got this from
'Cause-
Mark at PAX East,
Because Mark has a good sense of humor.
but I figured we would open it. I don't think any of these are necessarily going to be in Modern Masters 2015.
I'm going to be impressed if there are Magic cards in there.
It doesn't look like it.
Oh.
I mean, it was factory sealed, James.
I could see people have done a pretty compelling. Okay, I don't even. Just no. Pass me the pack.
What
No, the actual.
We have a Hatsune Miku,
You just pick your favorite card.
Butterfly.
We'll read that one.
which is all your other Megarine Luca Blossom get +1 level and +500 power. When this card is played and placed on stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a card named Megarine Luca Blossom in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
Is the entire conceit of this deck that you're putting on a concert?
I think
Probably.
so. The
That's
power-
kinda cute.
She has powers of music and Japanese clothes.
I kind of want those powers.
This looks like a
Hatsune
very,
Miku
very
Urban
weird
Pop.
game.
Hatsune Miku Kasha. There's like different...
Was it Violet Butterfly?
You're
No,
trying to find it?
Hatsune Miku Butterfly. It's the different cards are like different Miku costumes, it looks like.
Yeah.
Is there a Goth Miku?
Oh, wait, there's a foil card. Hatsune Miku Rainbow Lines.
What the
And the
hell?
foiling procedure is like... This is crazy.
To be honest, the foiling actually looks kind of neat on this card.
I like the edge-to-edge artwork.
And there's two Megarine Luca.
Whoa, there's
Megarine?
there's an area in this game called the Climax area. I would like to play this game. I'm very interested
Anyway,
now.
I've got 3 Miku costumes. No, sorry, 4 Miku costumes, 2 Luca costumes, Floral and Fraulein.
I've picked the most gothy looking Miku I can. This is
Kasha.
Kasha. She's just got the power of music. She's 500 something. Other characters in the middle position of the stage gets +500 power. This activates once per turn, so she's just a buff creature. When you use an act, choose one of your music characters, and that character gets 1,000 power until end of turn. Okay.
Oh,
I've got a
okay.
thing here that I think is like a stage. When this card is placed on your climax area from your hand,
Do not place anything on my climax area.
from my hand, choose up to
Look, this
one
is a
green
family
card in your
podcast.
waiting room, put it into your stock, and all your characters get +1 soul until end of turn.
All right, just give me these cards.
So this is the devil went down to Georgia the game, basically.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Can't find any of these cards.
Are you still looking in Gatherer? Because
can't
you
find
probably
any
won't
cards.
find them in Gatherer.
It's Weiss Schwarz. It's Weiss with like it's a,
Is it Weiss and like white and black?
Yeah.
I guess, but it's like WEI and then a character that's not in English.
Right.
And then, anyway.
All right, let's open Magic cards.
This is a Mirrodin faction pack
Hooray!
from Mirrodin Besieged. Now, this is from the Mirrodin Besieged pre-release. At the Mirrodin Besieged pre-release, this is when they were starting to do fun stuff with pre-releases.
Yeah.
You could go and you could ally with either the Mirrans or the Phyrexians. And
I think-
you got to pick.
Most people here went Mirren and then lost horribly.
Correct.
I went for Phyrexian.
I went Mirren and just had my stool pushed in.
I went Phyrexian and was doing just fine. But anyone who went Mirren lost horribly. Yes.
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 The sides were not as balanced as one would have hoped
Well,
they would have
Mirrens was like Metalcraft, yay, and the Phyrexians were like, that's cool. Infect, lol.
kill you.
been. Yeah,
Yeah.
kill you in half the time it takes you to kill me.
Yeah. So what you got was, I want to say it was it 4 packs of Mirrodin Besieged or was it 2, 2, and 2?
I honestly cannot remember.
I can't rember, but you
This was
got
a long time ago.
you got a number of Mirren or Phyrexian faction packs that only contained Mirren or Phyrexian cards as part of your sealed pool for the day.
But yeah, this is like the blue-green algae of pre-release
yeah.
specialties, like the very primitive ancestor
Yes.
of
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah, pre-release specialities have come a long way.
This pack was given to us by Mike, a.k.a. Lore Scholar, at PAX East. Thank you, Mike. Open.
So I'd just like to point out that the reason why I was having so much trouble finding Hatsune Miku cards, like I was assuming I could just like search for the name of the card and on Google image search it would show up. But the art on the card does show up because I'm assuming that the art from this is just like random Hatsune Miku art that's just like out there,
Oh,
or was done not for the card game. So anyway,
All right.
Okay.
So we're not going to see any infect in here.
No.
This is the mirror infect.
Yeah.
But we are going to see artifact creatures such as the Gust Skimmer. It's a 2/1 insect artifact creature for 2. And for a single blue, it gains flying until end of turn.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Reasonable to drop.
In the Mirrodin packs, you really wanted to be in Boros colors, right?
yes. Boros colors were by far the best.
Such as Blister Stick Shaman. 2 and a red for a 2/1.
He's a little. This is a goblin, right?
Yeah.
I remember this guy. He's good.
Yeah. Is 2 and a red for a 2/1 goblin. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah, that's
And a lot of the infect guys weren't big.
No.
So
Like, what was the...
well, like
was
Glistener.
was it called Dross Hopper?
Yeah.
wasn't that 3/1?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's correct. That's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the. It was just a 1/1 black flyer with infect. It was just like a little.
And it was crummy to deal with.
It might have been a 2/1. It was really irritating. It was just a
Yeah.
little flying infect dude. Anyway, he was cool. Also on the plane of Mirrodin was the mirror,
Yay!
which are adorable. And here's Master's Call. It's 2 and a white instant. Put 2 1/1 colorless mirror artifact tokens onto the battlefield. I just love that Master's Call. There's like a flare and 2 mirror, and one mirror's like, look, we got to get over there.
Oh my god, the mirror are so cute.
Here's
This
a
makes me
piece,
so sad.
yeah. Here's a piece
They're
of
still cute.
they're still cute. Here's a
were
piece of
still
equipment. Copper Carapace is
Yep.
next. It's only 1 mana to cast. Equips for 3, so high equip cost, but real cheap to play out. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and can't block.
Power armor.
Pretty much. Oh man. Okay, this next card is actually way more bonkers than it looks. Fangren Marauder.
Oh, I remember this
It's a
card.
5/5 for 5 and a green.
That's just good. That's fine.
It's okay. In green, that's actually like a little below the curve, right? For 6 mana, you'd expect.
I don't know.
you'd expect
5/5 is a relevant body, though.
Yeah, but you'd expect a 5/5 for 5 in green. But whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may gain 5 life.
Yeah, that's insane.
Except it didn't really do anything against infect.
That's fine. You could. This card was real strong.
Remember the card we just pulled out that made 2 artifact creatures?
Yes.
Hey, who likes 7 drops?
LSV.
Yep. Here's a Hexplate Golem.
That seems like right up his alley.
Is this the 6/3 or the
this is a
3/6?
This is the 5/7.
5/7.
5/7 for 7.
Yeah.
Artifact creature golem.
That's it. Yeah.
He's building himself out of hex plates from the.
He was just
playing fields.
just a big beefy dude to top out your curve. So he was fine.
Wasn't there also a 7/5 for 7? Like there was. I remember that there were
With
2 of these
regenerate?
guys.
I honestly do not remember.
There's something with regenerate.
Yeah, maybe I'm hallucinating.
Who had like a green activated ability.
Never mind.
That was in New
Maybe I
Phyrexia.
dreamed it.
All right. Ardent Recruit is a 1/1 for a single white that if you have Metalcraft gets +2/+2. So if you control 3 artifacts, he gets +2/+2. He was okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you get early artifacts out, then he's fine. But
But what if you have early artifacts out and someone casts Crush?
then you're sad because you destroy an artifact.
Single red mana, instant, destroy target non-creature
Artifact, yes.
Artifact.
This was like sideboard technology at best.
Oh yeah,
Because all the best artifacts were creatures, right?
pretty much, yeah. Turn the Tide. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-0 until end of turn. It's an instant for 1 and a blue.
I mean, it could be a blowout, but
Could be. Often was
generally not. No.
Here's a card that's still relevant today in cubes. Sphere of the Suns. Good for
Oh
splashing.
god, that card is good.
Yeah. 2 colorless mana artifact enters the battlefield tapped with 3 charge counters on it. Tap, remove a charge counter from Sphere of the Suns, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I think that's for sure being reprinted in Modern Masters
I was just
2.
about to say, I think I could easily see this coming in Modern Masters
Absolutely.
too. It's just a good utility card.
Yeah.
Lumen Grid Gargoyle is a 4/4 flyer for 6 colorless.
Yeah.
Artifact creature.
That's fine.
Didn't they just reprint that? Isn't that Ugin's?
No,
Scion of Ugin.
Scion of Ugin.
That's
yeah.
exactly the same card, isn't it?
Well, this is an artifact creature.
That is
Scion of
just-
Ugin is merely colorless.
Yes, true.
But yeah, it's still good. Oh, hey.
Oh, I love this card.
Oh, this card is insane.
This one's probably also getting reprinted in Modern Masters 2015, by the way. Go for the throat.
Premium removal.
Premium removal.
1 and a black, instant. Destroy target non-artifact creature.
Yeah. Yeah, this card.
Which is was kind of a limiting factor in the format. Not enough that you didn't just automatically
There were
take
still
it and
lots
run
of
it.
things that you could, okay, yeah, it doesn't kill their big hex plate. There's still lots of targets. It was still fine.
Yeah, very, very good.
All right.
We have a foil, which I'll talk about next. It's Mirrodin Spy. 2 and a blue for a 1/3 flyer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may untap target creature.
It's not bad.
So you can sort of give one of your things pseudo vigilance if you want.
What's a rare?
And
I
our
saw you
rare-
snicker.
Our
Wait,
rare is
wait.
What?
You're snickering.
Yeah. Oh, you
So-
haven't seen it?
I
Bad
didn't see
snicker
it.
or good snicker?
It
Worst
felt like
snicker.
it felt like a worst snicker. Yeah.
It's not Spine of Ishsa.
It's not spine. Okay.
Can you might
What-
want to explain the spine of
Oh,
the joke.
I back when Scars was out, we were very much in the buy a pack and just open it for no value, just to get cards and build decks and everything. And I probably opened 7 Spine of Ishsa.
It was a joke.
I got a foil one once.
It was a running joke.
Yeah.
What color is this card?
It is colorless.
It's a knowledge pool.
Correct.
I hate that stupid card.
Domed out.
It is 6 mana
I hate this card.
This card is ridiculous.
for an artifact
Yeah.
So useless.
with the imprint ability.
Yeah.
When everyone should sit down, by the way. When Knowledge Pool enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top 3 cards of his or her library. That's what the imprint does. So each player exiles the top 3
So
cards
if
of his or
we're
her
playing
library.
some sort of crazy commander game, Cam, me, James, Graham, everybody, 3 cards gone.
Yep.
They're exiled, not coming back.
Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. If the player does, which they have to, he or she may cast another non-land exiled card with non-land card exiled with Knowledge Pool without paying that card's mana cost.
Okay, so for example,
Yeah.
say I'm not going to, James, and we've all exiled 3 cards, and I exile, let's
So
say.
there's 12 cards in the Knowledge Pool right now. Some amount of which will be land.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's say I have exiled a Vampire Nighthawk and a Go for the Throat and a land.
Sure.
And then I play, I don't know, a Spell Bomb or something from my hand. But what I'd prefer would be a Vampire Nighthawk.
So you've paid 1 colorless.
And I can now get a Vampire Nighthawk.
You cast the spell bomb, it gets exiled into the Knowledge Pool,
And then I
you
take
say,
out the Nighthawk.
That one and cast it for your 1 colorless.
And now
was it-
there's a
was it-
Nihil Spell Bomb in the Knowledge Pool, but no more Vampire
Did
Nighthawk.
Jared try to do this? Did he try to
He
make it?
did.
Yeah, he did try to make
He
a
did.
stupid knowledge pool deck. It was
And it was
ridiculous.
just
It was misery.
miserable.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's hilarious,
And
but
so, okay, say for some reason this somebody in your pod has opened this pack and you get past it 45th pick,
Okay.
That's not an unlikely occurrence.
and it makes its way into your pool,
Why?
and you play it,
Uh-huh.
and you cast it on turn 6.
Okay.
You're bored.
Yeah, you're bored.
Yeah, sure,
You
why
know,
not?
Maybe you're
It's
playing.
late in the format, you're like, whatever.
Yeah, you're trying to make
Have
this
some
work.
fun.
You play it, exile your bomb.
Yep.
Your opponent is like,
Great.
Memnite, take,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's-
like
the card's
these
bad.
symmetrical effects that you have to pay an inordinate amount of mana for
Yeah.
are just so awful.
Oh, you know what?
really
you know
bad.
where? You know how you abuse the Knowledge Pool? You have Sensei's Divining Top. So you can
You've broken the format.
so
Yeah,
you
but,
can
like, I mean-
put all your shash on top and take your opponent's good stuff.
But like the only way I could see to really make Knowledge Pool work is you have to play 0 cost artifacts like a Quarter Shield and Memnites,
Yeah.
right? And you just leave garbage in the pool and take out your opponent's bombs. But
Or just your
maybe
opponent's
have-
average.
Maybe your opponent exiles 3 lands and you get a Memnite and a Quarter Shield in the pool.
yeah.
And you've had to have
And then-
lived to 6 mana.
I know.
And then no one else gets to play Magic for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for the rest of the game, the only way to kill the knowledge pool is one player has to cast an artifact kill spell into it,
Exactly.
then actually cast something else, and then someone
Or-
else has to play a spell to then pull the artifact kill spell out of the knowledge pool to kill it.
Oh, it requires
like-
teamwork.
I guess
It brings people together.
this wrecks
Yeah.
control, I guess, because they don't get to counter anything or they don't get to draw cards. But this works.
What
so much
are they
better
countering? You don't get to do anything.
yeah, exactly.
No, exactly.
No one gets to do anything.
They can, once there's a counter spell in there, someone else plays something, and it goes into the thing, and then they pull out whatever they're casting, and you're like, cool, giant growth, exile it, pull out the counter spell, counter what you're doing.
See,
it turns the whole game into
I like this card
hell.
so much better when it was Possibility Storm, when like like the same kind of effect, but it was Possibility Storm, where you would cast a spell, exile it, burn through your library until you find the next card with the same type, and then you cast that.
I think so. Yeah.
So like you would think twice, but you wouldn't think twice. You would mana leak.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool.
But yeah, knowledge
no.
pool is...
Knowledge pool for Modern Masters 2015. Woo!
I mean, it basically, if a knowledge pool comes out and gets played in some kind of multiplayer, because I've seen them in commander decks,
Yep.
usually in those sort of ridiculous artifact commander decks with like Lux cannons and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
Just-
the artifact decks, you just like turn things sideways of a bunch and eventually something happens. I like
Yeah,
those decks.
and
I
then,
like
like-
playing those decks.
And then like turn 25, people are like, "Are you still alive?"
And 'cause
Oh, kill
people-
you.
Well, no, because people ignore the person playing that deck, and then they almost win. Usually, almost.
Yeah,
because then
almost win.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually second out.
Yeah.
or
Yes.
second or third out.
Because you can
Yes,
just ignore
exactly.
them for the whole game.
Yeah, because they're not doing anything. They're just
Fire
twiddling
up
their
the
cards.
Lux cannon.
Sometimes legit, they're actually twiddling their cards.
What's
but
up,
yeah,
Paul?
I was going to say, I won't bore you by going through it, but it is worth noting that the Gatherer does have the full rulings for what happens when multiple knowledge pools are on the battlefield.
Oh my god.
that's probably like the level 3 judge test.
Triggers stack.
Yeah, and
So, you'd have to
so it depends-
cast a spell, you'd exile it into one pool, pull something out of it, and then exile it directly into
No.
the other pool.
No. Because the cards that come out of the pool aren't cast.
Right.
Oh, okay. So do you get to stack the triggers and pick which pool you draw from?
Well, it depends on who owns each pool.
Oh, for
The order of the triggers depends on who owns each pool.
This sounds
That
like a Friday
sounds-
night
and
episode.
whose
So
turn
dumb.
it is.
That
Yeah.
sounds incredibly stupid. If that
Modern
ever
brew
happens,
coming
scoop
up.
up your cards, go to the bar, get a beer.
live in
Yeah.
the woods.
Just live in the
or
woods.
coffee or a Coke
No,
or
no,
something.
I just need. Now I need to brew up a modern deck that just ramps into this turn 2.
And I will never ever be your friend again. You're
I
a
mean,
monster.
You aren't my friend right now.
Here's the deal.
Sorry, actually, it's not that they're not cast when they come out of the knowledge pool. It's the knowledge pool explicitly says when you cast a spell from your hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
The fact that they had to write that in
Yeah.
means they're already assuming that people are going to be doing that.
Well, you
and
can just
gonna be
imagine
monsters.
in R&D, they're like, okay, I made this card. It's called Knowledge Pool. This is what it does. And then someone else would have been like,
What happens,
what happens if there's more than
Yeah.
one? And the first guy's like, oh, fuck.
I did not think about
Yeah.
that.
And like, okay, one, this card should be a mythic because this is what all the Vidalcan like do, right?
Yeah.
This is what's in their the artifact land. What was it called? The blue artifact land. The seat of the synod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that was built around. This is the entire like the nexus of blue mana.
Yeah,
Right.
it
Yeah.
seems
On this
it's
plane.
so flavorful.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks. No wonder nobody like goes after the Vidalcan in Mirrodin. They're like, oh, then we'd have to deal with.
They're so
knowledge
boring.
pool."
If we go
No,
in
wait.
there and I shoot a fireball, I'm going to like make Gary 3 times his size.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell's going to happen
I mean,
if we go
it's-
in there.
Well,
It
and
is-
then they're like, well, at least it's not Beacon of Tomorrows anymore.
I would say knowledge pool is fun theoretically, but if one gets cast in a commander game and people don't just scoop in disgusted response, which is usually what happens, everybody will go about 5 turns, and then what is circling the knowledge pool is the worst spells in the universe, and nobody wants to do anything, and nobody can win the game because you can't cast anything.
And you don't want to cast any of your good stuff.
Right, because then
Oh, but
somebody
then-
else will get it.
Oh, no, but what happens is the one jerk who's playing a flashback deck suddenly just runs away. Yeah, that's what you do. You put out knowledge pool and then you play no cards from your hand. You just play them from your graveyard. And
Interesting. All right, you
You
build
still
that.
get to cast
you
spells.
build that deck, and I'll play against it. That
yeah, and
sounds
then you just
hilarious.
cascade like spells
Cascade,
and-
Graveyard. Yeah, okay.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Blue black.
Let's do it. Let's
it.
workshop
With a
it.
knowledge- pool.
All right, let's do it. This
All
is
right.
going to take down the next modern GP. I can feel it.
All
I
right.
thought we were talking about Commander. Now we're talking about Modern?
Oh, I'm going all the way with this.
All right, that's fair.
Legacy. Legacy knowledge pool. This deck's going to cost $2.50.
Vintage?
I'm going to play unsleeved.
Nice.
And then anytime I get to cast one of your spells, I'm going to sell it for food.
just build 9 decks and then burn it after every round. It's the same deck. It's fine.
Yeah, no, the sleeves would actually cost more than this deck.
Then
I'm going to play
deck
with
itself.
white bordered land.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. We have a plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a card we think is not going to be in Modern Masters 2015. But spoilers start on Monday?
I actually have no idea.
Okay.
I would think they would because
They
it's
start
like
soon.
it's like
So I
3-4
look forward to
weeks
finding out
so.
what that is going to be. And that comes out in like a month.
Yep. Almost
So-
exactly a
So
month
hopefully
from now.
next Tap Concede we can actually talk maybe about the first Modern Masters spoiler and see if any of our predictions were correct.
Probably not.
Although, like,
First
Emrakul-
spoiler, knowledge pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say Eldrazi, though.
Oh
Probably.
yeah.
Because
Well,
Emrakul
Well, they've
is-
already Emrakul is, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows what
Yeah.
else?
I mean, like I think that the in all seriousness, I think the rumors going around is like there'll probably be vampires are going to come back
I can see that.
as like sort of one of the black things that you can do because there's so many good black vampires. They're really popular in Commander and other decks. Infect for green.
As long as it's better than the vampire deck that was in the latest Magic Online Legacy Cube, which most people did not enjoy.
No.
People tried too. They were like, vampires? That
I
sounds
love
bad. But you know
vampires.
what? You know what? We'll try it.
What was
I'm
so
gonna
bad
draft
about
that.
it?
It just didn't win.
I mean,
See, like, I'd
it
love
could,
to see a
but
deck.
it's
I would love to see limited vampires just so you could have Blood Artist, Bloodghast, Viscera Seer,
all right.
all together in one format.
Oh man, that's so good.
And
So
then, like, Nighthawk is your beater.
yeah. So until
And
such time as
Calastria.
we can talk more about Modern Masters 2015 or talk some more about dragons or whatever, this has been Tap Concede, which we're able to do on this new fun set thanks to your contributions to our Patreon, patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Thanks so much for your ongoing support of that and for listening.
Thank you very much,
And
everybody.
we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.